A shocking video showing torture has gone viral on almost every social media platform in Mexico. This video has shown that Mexican drug cartels are dangerous and brutal, especially the CJNG cartel. A normal security position was the one that these 5 teenagers applied for, but when they went in for the interview, they were confronted with a situation that they had never anticipated. The chilling video. In the chilling video, 5 young men from Lagos de Moreno, Mexico, were described as being brutally executed by the CJN cartel. The horrifying video, which showed the victims tied with duct tape over their lips, soon went viral, sparking indignation and sadness on social media and news platforms. In the video, the young guys, who ranged in age from 19 to 22, were shown kneeling on the ground with faces that were a mixture of terror and resignation. As the video progressed, it showed the horrible deeds in the room that had taken place after that. They were compelled to beat each other in accordance with the cartel's demands. However, the brutal execution of these individuals occurred as a result of their refusal to comply with the demands of their captors. Furthermore, the horrible video was widely distributed, which helped shine a light on the utter cruelty of Mexico's drug cartels, as well as their vicious tactics of recruiting and control. On various social media sites, there was an overwhelming number of postings that condemned the violence and expressed sympathy with the families of the victims. In addition, Facebook groups that are devoted to bringing attention to the violence that is committed by cartels had an increase in activity, with thousands of people sharing the video and demanding that justice be served. Also, the story gained international attention from news outlets, which increased the outcry. The terrible deceit that led to the sad end of the young guys was brought to light by the New York Post's expose of the fake employment offer that lured them to their deaths. Yes, their sad fate was caused by a fake job. Thus, the report revealed that the CJN had been using call centers to publish fake job advertising in order to ensnare victims who were unaware of the threats they faced. In actuality, these contact centers were a cover for recruiting new members into the ranks of the cartel, even though they offered high-paying positions. As a result, it became abundantly evident that the 5 friends had been tricked into meeting with the cartel under the guise of finding jobs. After arriving at the location that had been chosen for their meetup, they were held captive and exposed to atrocities that were beyond their comprehension. On the other side, there was a prompt response from the Mexican authorities, who initiated an investigation into the murders without delay. Thus, after a short time, the office of the state prosecutor in Jalisco found the premises where the video was shot. So the location of the murder was a terrible sight: a ranch with buildings made of brick and concrete, bloodstains on the floor, shoes thrown about, and other relics of the horrible occurrence. The remains of 4 of the victims were discovered inside the building, with their heads severed and burnt. But the 5th victim's body was located in a vehicle that had been destroyed while it was parked nearby. The deaths were denounced by the President of Mexico, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, who referred to them as very regrettable and said that the case would be taken up by federal prosecutors. Meanwhile, this terrible event serves as a reminder of the continuous risk that drug cartels bring to the citizens of Mexico. Despite the fact that they were just looking for work, the 5 young guys were taken advantage of by a system that targets those who are weak. Additionally, their narrative has prompted widespread demands for more stringent measures to safeguard civilians against crimes of this kind and to bring those guilty to justice. As the investigation proceeds, it is hoped that the families of Roberto, Diego, Uriel, Dante, and Jaime will be able to find some kind of closure. It is also hoped that their deaths will not be in vain, but rather that they will inspire further action to be taken against the pervasive cartel violence that is afflicting Mexico. On the other hand, the brutality inflicted by this cartel is deeply unsettling, and here's why. Quiero Agua is yet another chilling video that underscores the horrors they perpetrate. The video starts out with a situation that just breaks your heart. It is seen that a little kid, who's between the ages of 10 and 12, is in a barren environment surrounded by dangerous criminals. It is a frantic scream that highlights the misery that he is experiencing and the way he begs for water. Quiero agua. The indignity that is perpetrated upon him is incomprehensible. He is compelled to consume gasoline before being set ablaze. The video finishes with the burnt and dead body of the youngster lying on the ground in a sprawling position. Furthermore, the content of this gruesome video placed viewers all around the globe in a state of shock, revealing the extraordinary extent that the CJN would go to in order to keep control and inspire terror in its individuals. Also, there was an overwhelming amount of responses on social media channels, ranging from pleas for justice to expressions of sorrow and indignation. Almost immediately, the horrifying video went viral, accumulating millions of views and eliciting massive criticism from people all around the world. In a similar vein, Reddit saw numerous debates and postings that were shared, with a large number of individuals pushing authorities to take strong action against the cartel. Despite the fact that the video titled Quiero Agua is one of the most well-known examples of cruelty committed by the CJN cartel, it is by no means an isolated incident. Numerous atrocities of a similar kind take place behind closed doors, often without being recorded and without the public's awareness. Victims of the violence committed by the CJN include members of competing cartels, those who are thought to be traitors, or innocent bystanders who are caught in a crossfire. In addition, the video Quiero Agua and other acts of violence have had a significant and far-reaching influence on modern society. The presence of terror becomes an ever-present companion in communities that are tormented by cartel activities. As a result of the continuous danger of violence, everyday life is disrupted, economic progress is stifled, and faith in authorities is eroded. Authorities are often seen as either involved in the cartel's activities or impotent to resist them, but that's not all. Significant psychological damage is inflicted on survivors and witnesses of such atrocities, leaving severe scars that might last a lifetime. In response to the video Quiero Agua, law enforcement authorities have used visual evidence to locate and arrest people who are associated with the CJN. As a result, the police were able to initiate operations to further destroy elements of the cartel's network with the assistance of the video, which revealed crucial leads. On the other hand, the difficulty is still quite great. The CJN cartel is a highly organized and heavily equipped squad that is capable of bribing authorities and eluding arrest via the use of force and harassment. And if you're asking yourself why CJN is so dangerous and what they've done thus far, here is the answer. There is abundant evidence that CJN has a reputation for being quite violent. For example, a number of violent strategies are used by the cartel in order to remove competitors, maintain discipline among its ranks, and scare both the local people and the government. One way, as already mentioned, is the production and distribution of videos depicting murders. They often feature graphic acts of violence, such as torture and executions with the intention of spreading dread. The videos are often shared on social media platforms and via messaging applications, allowing them to reach a large number of people and ensuring that the message of the CJN is heard clearly and loudly. However, were you aware that CJN has had incidents of insane violence throughout the years? Well, the CJN cartel has been engaged in several incidents that have outraged not just Mexico, but also the worldwide society. The first notorious incident happened in 2015. Thus, an ambush was carried out by CJNG in Jalisco, Mexico, on a convoy of Mexican federal police officers, resulting in the deaths of 15 policemen and injuries to numerous more. In addition to being one of the most lethal attacks ever carried out against Mexican security agents, this incident also served to illustrate the cartel's potential for coordinated and widespread brutality. The second notorious incident happened in 2018, when a gunman from the CJNG targeted a family gathering in Minatitlan, Veracruz, resulting in the deaths of 14 individuals. One of them was a baby of 1 year old. According to reports, the assault was directed at a local business owner who had refused to pay extortion costs to the cartel. The brutality of the incident brought to light the fact that the CJN was prepared to harm people in order to reinforce their rule and punish disobedience. The third notorious incident happened in 2016. CJN has been responsible for a number of high-profile assaults against Mexican security personnel via its activities. Within the state of Jalisco, they carried out an ambush in March of 2016, during which they executed 5 federal police officers. Furthermore, these kinds of assaults are a component of the cartel's plan to scare law enforcement and display their capacity to retaliate against forces of the government. As we go further, let us discuss the significance of the disturbing videos that the CJN cartel is producing and how these videos are conveying a potent message to the whole globe. The majority of the time, these videos are shot in a professional way, with clear audio and visual aspects that elevate the level of terror that is conveyed by the situations that are shown. The fact that victims are usually coerced into making admissions or confessions before their execution is another factor that contributes to the psychological effect of the videos. After that, these recordings are disseminated via a variety of means, including social media sites. Because of the visual nature of the material, it is certain to get attention and spread rapidly in a short amount of time. Furthermore, the brutality that is shown in the videos has another purpose, which is to desensitize viewers, normalize extreme violence, and perpetuate a cycle of fear and retaliation. Also, the videos have a psychological effect on people who see them, especially those who could be interested in joining the cartel. In other words, the videos of violence and power might be enticing to some individuals, which can lead them to get involved with the cartel's circle. But is it possible for the the government and law enforcement to put an end to the CJN cartel. The Mexican government and law enforcement authorities have had a difficult time putting a stop to CJNG's violent acts. Ongoing efforts have been made to apprehend El Mencho and other senior leaders of the cartel. Nevertheless, the organization's huge network and resources make it difficult to destroy. In addition, attempts to successfully battle the cartel are sometimes hampered by the presence of corruption within their respective municipal and federal agencies. How CJN finds victims. The transition of Mexican drug cartels into the digital age has not only resulted in a transformation of their operational skills, but has also resulted in an increase in their capacity to spread terror, recruit followers, and maintain a culture of violence through the use of social media. In other words, at the dawn of the 21st century, cartels began utilizing the internet to enhance communication and logistics. After initially being restricted to forums on the dark web, they eventually began using conventional platforms like X, TikTok, and YouTube. One of the most prominent examples highlighting this trend came in 2011, when a video leaked on YouTube showing masked members of Los Zetas interrogating and subsequently decapitating a young woman. Not only was the footage designed to terrify rival cartels, but it was also intended to demonstrate the cartel's cruelty to potential recruits and towns that were under their influence. Cartels have quickly adjusted to the regulations that have been placed on social media by utilizing encrypted messaging apps such as WhatsApp, Telegram, and Discord to ensure secure communication. Also, these platforms make it possible for cartels to facilitate the coordination of drug shipments and the dissemination of strategic intelligence with a degree of freedom. To evade detection and ensure that their plans are efficiently communicated to their intended audiences, cartels use coded language and accounts that are generated quickly. In addition to using measures of intimidation, cartels often use social media to develop public support and foster an image of community guardianship. Posts that promote charity operations such as providing food and aid to towns that are underprivileged serve a dual purpose. They strengthen the legitimacy of cartels among local populations while simultaneously creating a mask of generosity that obscures the violent activities that cartels engage in. The phenomenon known as narco-culture further reinforces cartel control through the use of platforms such as YouTube, where narco corridos, which are music videos that celebrate lifestyles associated with drug trafficking, are extensively viewed. These videos appeal to gullible young people who are looking for prestige and economic empowerment by means that are not lawful. Rather than merely facilitating propaganda, social media also facilitates coordination in the realm of operational logistics. Through the utilization of platforms, cartels are able to coordinate the movements of armed units, transport narcotics across international borders, and conduct strategic actions with pinpoint accuracy. As a result of this technical sophistication, cartel activities have become more efficient and elusive, which presents substantial problems to law enforcement organizations that are tasked with dismantling these networks. Furthermore, recruitment is an essential component of the cartel strategy that is implemented on social media. Cartels use the promise of power to entice vulnerable young people, and they frequently utilize public displays of violence that are broadcast online to attract their attention. In one incident, the Gulf Cartel's use of social media to recruit young shooters was brought to light when videos emerged showing fresh recruits pledge their allegiance to the group while they were receiving training. These recruitment strategies take advantage of socioeconomic differences and provide teenagers who are disillusioned with an alternative way to achieve what they believe to be achievement within the criminal underworld.
What is the lure for these teens?
It's just money. It's just money. I mean, you'll see the ads. There's just, make $1,000, $5,000 for one drive.
Overall, the deadly effects of cartel violence, which are amplified through social media, are being brought to light by real-life occurrences. For example, the members of the CJN cartel videotaped themselves torturing 3 individuals in 2019, and then they released the footage on social media as a warning to their competitors and as proof of their savagery. Thus, the growing violence that is fueled and exaggerated by internet platforms is brought to light by this incident, along with many others that serve as a terrible reminder of the situation. Victims describing their ordeals with cartels. Cartels pose a significant threat to society. Because of this, you will be able to hear the stories of the victims from the United States who have escaped from a Mexican drug cartel and revealed the horrors that they were subjected to. As a result, the following transpired. Latavia Washington McGee, Eric Williams, and their friends Shaeed Woodard and Zindell Brown set off on a journey from South Carolina to Matamoros, Mexico on March 3, 2023. The reason for their trip was so that McGee could have a treatment done on her appearance via cosmetic surgery. Nevertheless, after they had crossed the border and were making their way through the streets of Matamoros, their journey turned into a nightmare when they were met by members of a Mexican drug cartel. It was a white minivan that the party was traveling in when they heard the sound of a vehicle horn. When Brown, who was sitting in the rear, saw a gun, he cautioned the other people not to stop. However, the members of the cartel pushed their vehicle to come to a stop and started firing at them, despite the fact that they were making an effort to escape harm. Also, there was an effort made by Woodard and Brown to run, but they were promptly executed by gunfire.
That's when Shaeed said, "I love y'all, I'm gone." And he died right there.
Williams, who had been injured in both legs, and McGee were taken captive by the shooters against their will. As a result, the two individuals were taken to a residence where their kidnappers, who were dressed in red masks with the Diablo logo, threatened and questioned them. Williams reported being sewn up in a makeshift clinic without receiving any pain medication throughout the procedure. Overall, McGee and Williams were subjected to terrible psychological and physical abuse while they were held captive. Furthermore, their kidnappers transported them around to several sites, most likely in an attempt to elude the police who were getting closer. So McGee was terrified that the members of the cartel would never be discovered because they were always one step ahead of the authorities and had access to police scanners. Also, a video of their abduction that had gone viral was even shown to McGee by one of the people who were holding them captive. This gave her a sense of terror, as well as a glimmer of optimism that their predicament was known to the outside world. After 4 long days, McGee and Williams were found by Mexican police at a stash house located in a remote region close to Matamoros. Both the rescue effort and the circumstances of the criminal's arrest were extensively published, which brought the brutality of the drug cartel and the risks that tourists confront in areas that are governed by cartels to the attention of people all over the world. In their first interview with the public, which was conducted by Anderson Cooper of CNN, McGee and Williams discussed the terrible circumstances of their kidnapping. They detailed the terror and helplessness that they experienced during the trip, as well as the cruel treatment that they were subjected to at the hands of the drug cartel. In addition, the survivors discussed the psychological effects of their ordeal, especially the time when McGee watched the viral video of their capture that was on the captor's phone. The fact that their situation was recognized brought her some measure of solace, despite the fact that she shed tears as she viewed the tape and thought, "I just started crying thinking looks like I'm never going home." Williams, who was still healing from his injuries and was confined to a wheelchair with his left leg in a brace, remembered the horrific moment when he was shot. "When I jumped out on the driver's side, that's when I was shot in both legs," he claimed. Witnessing the suffering and deaths of his friends had a profound impact on him, despite the fact that he had suffered serious injuries himself. According to the two survivors, their captors also pushed McGee and Williams to engage in explicit activity with each other for the purpose of providing them with enjoyment. By acting as if they were siblings and stating that McGee was pregnant, they were able to sidestep this situation. On the other side, 6 individuals were taken into custody by Mexican police in connection with the abduction. Gulf Cartel, the organization that was responsible for the incident, has made an apology for the acts of its members. They have said that the violence was caused by a case of mistaken identification and a lack of discipline within their ranks. But as shown by another incident that happened in 2022, everything involving cartels has the potential to become disastrous if ordinary people come into touch with members of the cartel on any level. So Aaron Payzant and Logan Howard set out on a journey that would take them from Indiana to Cancun, Mexico, a distance of over 3,000 miles. While they were traveling through the secluded backroads of Tabasco, their expedition took a terrible turn. Their intention was to take pictures of the tropical fauna that they saw, but at that moment, the two guys suddenly became aware of a massive white SUV that was hurrying towards them. While the SUV was getting closer, the guys were aware that they were in a very shaky situation. As soon as the SUV arrived, a group of armed guys sprang out and encircled their vehicle with their weapons drawn. In a state of terror, Aaron and Logan attempted to talk with the individuals who were holding the firearms, who soon recognized them as American visitors. Aaron said in an interview,
I still remember seeing down the barrel of the one guy's gun, thinking like, this is it.
Even though they were scary, the shooters did not instantly do any damage to the bird watchers. Philip, who identified himself as one of the shooters, made an effort to calm them down. Philip said, no problem, while laying a soothing hand on Aaron's shoulder. The American guys said that they were merely birding and had been disoriented, despite the frightening conditions that they were in. Thus, the shooters listened to them, and then they told them that if they continued down the road, they would be executed. They also indicated that there were more dangerous people waiting further ahead. Aaron and Logan were eventually taken back to the main road by Philip and the other shooters, who warned them of the dangers of straying off the path in cartel territory. They told us that there was more people further up the road, and if we stayed on that road and didn't get out of there, they literally signaled throat-slitting gesture.
Okay, can we go?
Yeah.
Not only were the bird watchers frightened, but they were also uninjured. This was due to the relatively humane demeanor of Philip and his shooters, who seemed to be more concerned with protecting the tourists from other possible threats than they were with stealing or injuring them personally. Also, the last warning that the gunman gave Aaron and Logan had an indelible effect on them, and they were thankful that they were able to escape the incident without losing their lives. Following the incident, Aaron and Logan uploaded a video to their YouTube account called Out Off the Trail, in which they detailed their terrifying encounter. The video rapidly gained widespread attention. Also, Aaron expressed his relief and appreciation for the surprising mercy given by his captors in the video. Logan continued by saying,
We were really scared from that point on, like putting chairs against the hotel door to, like at night, and I couldn't sleep at night.
Overall, both of the males were profoundly affected psychologically as a result of the encounter. After they had escaped, Aaron and Logan expressed the terror and anxiety that continued to follow them for a long time. Over the course of the rest of their journey, they described how they made sure to keep a close eye on their surroundings and take additional safety measures. When traveling in regions where there is a high level of cartel activity, Aaron and Logan underlined the need to be aware of your surroundings and exercise care in interviews that followed their trip. They were grateful for their lucky escape and expressed the hope that their experience might serve as a cautionary tale to someone else. Additionally, a bizarre moment of empathy in the midst of the fear of violence was typified by Aaron's pleading, "Please don't kill us," and the ensuing handshake with Philip. In spite of the terrifying encounter, Aaron and Logan were able to make it back to the United States without incident, but with a heightened sense of caution over travel in certain regions on their return. Their story highlights the unpredictability of areas governed by cartels and the need to maintain vigilance in an environment like this. In other words, the trauma that the birdwatchers went through is a demonstration of the unforeseen combination of danger and surprising kindness that may be met in situations with cartels that are so volatile. If you enjoyed watching this video, be sure to check our other similar and amazing videos on the screen. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.